9 years. It's been 9 years since Elgato released the Stream Deck back in 2017, and ever since then, I've been waiting for them to finally implement that into a keyboard. I brought it up in tons of videos over the years, even went as far to suggest and mock examples in videos, but it finally happened. We have an Elgato Stream Deck built into a keyboard with the brand new Corsair Galleon 100 SD. Corsair's new flagship keyboard for gamers, streamers, content creators, really anyone, now with the added functionality of pretty much a Stream Deck Plus. With the screen and the dials there, giving you the option to have a full-size keyboard that can be, with your numpad, or unlock the endless possibilities with everything the Stream Deck can do, all built into one body. So checking it out, yeah, it is a full-size layout that looks pretty much identical to their Vanguard keyboard, so carrying that design language over now, but I know, everyone just wants to know about the Stream Deck, so let's start there. When you get it plugged in for the first time, the default profile on the board is either the numpad or turning the dial will switch it to a shortcut profile. So quick access to multimedia keys on the fly, things like enabling their gaming mode, enabling flash tap or SOCD, changing the polling rate all the way up to 8K hertz, switching between profiles and built-in themes, which changes the lighting effects and that little wallpaper on the 5-inch LCD screen, all of which are customizable, obviously inside the software, but more on that later. And then other things like the RGB brightness control and the screen brightness. But that's all just by default, because the little Elgato button is going to prompt you to download the Stream Deck software, which completely opens up what the keyboard can do and lets you actually take advantage of the screen, letting you add widgets, visual info, and game tie-ins, versus it just being like a plain wallpaper when you first get it unboxed without the software. But before we dive into everything else, let's just finish going over the physical board itself. Besides the 12 LCD keys and the 2 dials up top, the rest of the keyboard's pretty much like a plain TKL. Nothing too flashy or crazy about it. It's sleek and pretty minimal with the aluminum frame to the board, and there's some extra RGB with a little accent bar on the top of the forehead, which is really just that, a visual accent piece. And even though the cable isn't centered with the logo, it is centered with the width of the board. And then along with that cable, there's actually 2 additional USB-C ports, which is for USB pass-through. So the one next to the power cable, that connects to your PC as well to have that data transfer. And then right here on the back lip of the keyboard, whatever you plug into there over USB-C, peripherals, your wireless dongles, anything, you now have that pass-through, which is pretty cool. Also on the backside, you have 2 flip-out feet with 2 different levels of elevation. And underneath, gone are the days of the routed cable channels underneath, unfortunately. But for that pass-through, you do get 2 USB-C cables included inside the box, along with an aluminum key switch and keycap puller, and a detachable magnetic wrist rest that's decently thick and cushioned, definitely miles ahead of other included wrist rests out there. Razor, take notes. Keycaps here are a nice textured double-shot PBT set with a clean and minimal font returning from the recent Vanguard keyboards. Texture is just subtle enough to add some tactility, and it won't easily show oils or fingerprint smudges. The F-Row does have some side printed icons for the secondary functions, despite most of those being accessible through the default Stream Deck keys. Now underneath those keycaps is where it gets kind of interesting with their lubed linear MLX pulse switches. This is not a TMR or a Hall effect keyboard, so Corsair's throwing it back with traditional mechanical keys. They have a 3.6mm total travel distance and actuates at 2mm at 45 grams. They're 5-pin, although the PCB does also support 3-pin switches, but I will say, these do feel really smooth and give a deep sounding profile, which is also helped out by the fact they implemented 6 layers of sound dampening with the gasket mount construction here. And just showing you real quick, you can see inside that Stream Deck module is completely separate from the PCB and the main keyboard. But using foam, PET film, and a thick layer of silicone, it all adds up. Literally, I mean, it's 6 individual layers, so they've really come a long way over the years, and altogether greatly improves the sound and feel of the keyboard during use. So definitely would have been cool if this was a Hall effect keyboard. Also would have been great if this was a TMR keyboard, which lets you use both mechanical and Hall effect switches, and then essentially the sensors in the PCB make mechanical switches act as Hall effect switches essentially. So that would have been great. My theory of why this is mechanical is they've probably been working on this for a long time now. I mean, their first Hall effect keyboard launched back in 2023, which is ironically when the Stream Deck Plus also launched, which gives you like the dials and the screen and stuff. So they've probably been working on this 2021, 2022, bunch of delays. I don't know, Hall effect kind of got left behind. Not a major deal, not a deal breaker, because if you're buying this, you're buying it for the Stream Deck functionality, not for the Hall effect benefits. But speaking of which, we'll do a sound test now of their pulse switches and even the Stream Deck functionality. So during use, it does sound and feel really good. I'm impressed with the overall acoustics of the board. No rattling or resonance anywhere. All of these stabilizers and modifiers also pre-lubed. Really nice and sort of deep sounding overall. The actual LCD keys for the Stream Deck, they are those mushy ones that we saw like, you know, on all of the original first Stream Decks. So it's not gonna be those like scissor mechanical switches that they just released, I believe, this year. So again, they've probably been working on this for a while. But let's dive into the actual useful Stream Deck functionality. We're gonna head back to my PC and I'll show you really how to unlock its full potential. Okay, so now that I'm over at my PC, we are in the Stream Deck mode. We're no longer in that default hardware mode, it's called. We now have Stream Deck unlocked. And as you can see, the screen, like I said before, has widgets. There's more stuff going on, which you can't do if you don't have the Stream Deck software downloaded. So just to show you guys real quick, it's pretty much gonna be just like the regular Stream Deck software. Everything on the side for your keys and dials, all drag and drop in terms of what you want to, you know, add to your Stream Deck and your keyboard, all the different plugins you can go in and download stuff through the actual Stream Deck marketplace and the Elgato marketplace where there's plugins, profiles, icon packs, all that. Everything is still gonna be drag and drop. So the way I have it set up, just gonna bring you guys through the way I have it configured. First one's gonna be adjusting my volume, right? It shows me right there what output I'm currently on, nice and convenient. They also have my most used app setup, so I can go through, quickly launch Skate, quickly launch Battlefield, bring up Steam, Discord, all stuff which is configurable. What's also cool is if you want to access the bottom row, you can just hold it in. And now I have access to like a widget app, or if I wanted to go through, I could see, you know, the weather, the forecast, all that type of stuff, all things that you couldn't do previously, obviously, but now thanks to that integration with the dials and the screen, you have more functionality with your keyboard. Just some stuff down below. Again, it's the same keys and layout from the Stream Deck, so nothing too crazy there. And when I have my different profile set up, where I want to change pages to like my music player and Spotify layout, up top, there is a full music player where if I want, I can go through and pick my like most used or my most like played songs or albums. I have it all set up and configured here to do it like that. Top row is going to show me what song is currently playing on Spotify. I can control Spotify all from here. And then I have more, you know, on the bottom, additional apps and programs that I use most frequently. All customizable. You can have more. I just have 10 set up here, but there's so much more you can do. This is just the way that I have it set up as my profile, like my default profile on my PC. You can go in then and download different packs and profiles for certain programs. They have a whole thing here for Chrome, different, you know, macros and just quick functions all through Chrome, scrolling, zooming, vertical scrolling, horizontal scrolling, different stuff for, you know, downloads, zooming, you name it, it's all got it here. But where it's really gonna shine is with gaming. So they're gonna probably have a lot more because this is, a pre-launch unit. So there's not a lot of compatibility right now for these games and programs. But Expedition 33, a bunch of cool icon packs, or like profiles and stuff for all the things you can do here. So go through all the characters, have their certain, moves, macros, all stuff in game. And again, also all customizable. The advantage to having these pre-made ones is it has, the theme, the wallpaper, and it has some of the stuff already set up versus you having to go and manually do all this yourself. Something like Battlefield, all like your gadgets, your in-game call outs, stuff for certain classes, bunch of really cool things. 10 pages on this one for Battlefield 6. So again, with your most used games, having all these quick macros, once you get to learn everything in the layout, gonna save you more time. You're gonna have more functionality right at your fingertips. And then just arc raiders real quick, some stuff here. And again, not only do you have everything on the keys, but you have the ability to use the dials and that screen for more functions, more, added benefits to your gameplay. And this is just like for gaming. Again, not even talking about all the benefits with like OBS, Streamlabs, whatever you're using for streaming on Twitch, YouTube, podcasting. This is all just like, a basic gameplay integration essentially. And keeping it as simple as you can, which is like your sort of configure setup. As I showed before, everything that I have it here. Nice and convenient. So this is really where the keyboard's gonna come to life. When you have the Stream Deck software, download it. And that's just for controlling the Stream Deck. They are using their Corsair web-based driver for the actual keyboard itself, so you don't have to download iCUE. You can just go to their web driver and then have control of the keyboard if you want to customize the RGB and do some of the more keyboard hardware-related stuff versus the Stream Deck, which is separate. So yeah. Just showing you guys that because I know it's going to be the bulk of the stuff people care about. Yeah, so obviously, as you've seen and as you've come to know with Stream Deck over the years, there's so much you can do. It really is endless with creating your own macros, all the stuff from their marketplace you can download, customize. So you get the idea of that by now. What I'm looking forward to the most and how I think this keyboard's really going to evolve is with more profiles. Because like I said, right now it is kind of limited because it's a pre-production unit, so it's not out yet. People can't release their own profiles and stuff. So once we have more, once this does get released to the mass market, it's going to open the floodgates for more creative profiles and plugins and tie-ins to their programs and games. Really excited for that. But just day one, what you can do with it, really impressive. I will say I do wish the screen was touchscreen. I just feel like, during use, I was opting more to just like touch or swipe it rather than using the dials. That would have been pretty cool, I think. And I will say the only real downside to this is gonna be the fact that it's not Hall effect. So if you've used Hall effect over the last 4 to 5 years now, since they really started to take off, you're probably really used to that, 0.1, 0.2 millimeter actuation rapid trigger, which this does not have. It actuates at 2 millimeters, which unless your muscle memory is really dialed in, it's not gonna be really noticeable. It's only gonna be noticeable if you do actuate at 0.1 or 0.2 millimeters and you're used to that just really quick spamming. But again, that's more if you're just like, gaming 24/7. You aren't gonna be, really noticing that difference. I'll say it. I've tested how many Hall effect keyboards over the years, how many mechanical keyboards and switches. It's not going to be a crazy difference. And hell, we even have their flash tap SOCD on here, which again, you're really only going to notice that difference if you're used to just the lightest of taps to, spam A and D back and forth. I just do wish it was TMR at least, because then you could use their mechanical switches, which feel really nice and smooth. And then also if you have switches that you really like that are Hall effect, pop them in here as well. But like I was saying before, you're really not buying this for the switches. You're buying it for that Stream Deck implementation here. Pretty much the Stream Deck Plus with all this can do. You don't need to have a Stream Deck dedicated device and your keyboard anymore. Now it's consolidated into one, less clutter on your desktop, and you've got it all here with the Galleon 100. Galleon SD 100, 100 SD, 100 SD. Also, the price is hefty. It's $350. So you're gonna come to expect that with their flagship releases, but again, you're getting a keyboard with the Stream Deck. It's definitely pricey. Yeah, would have loved if this was, you know, $100 less, but I know the times we're in, everything is crazy inflated, and that's just the price you gotta pay if you want this. So if you're fine with your keyboard and your Elgato setup, then you probably won't need this. But if you're gonna be buying into the full potential of what you can do with this, if you are someone who's gaming, streaming, photo editing, video editing, content creator, anything like that, having all the macros, the dials there at your fingertips on your keyboard is definitely gonna be cool in the end. But doesn't come without your wallet crying. So guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the Corsair Galleon 100 SD. Hope you enjoyed. Nearly 10 years I've been waiting for this, and it's finally here. If you like this review, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on all socials at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope y'all enjoyed. Have a good day.